Howdy, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Dirt Info podcast. If you're new here or returning and haven't done it yet, I'm going to ask again. The like and subscribe is right down here. We always appreciate when y'all hit it. So if you could just so kindly, one or both, we're not picky. We'll take whatever you're feeling generous for. um, but with that, Carter, let's go ahead and jump into our first segment. And
it's called Stylin and Profile.
thanks, Rick. Carter, let's have you go first.
I got a Harris Clash shirt,
Ooh.
which I wasn't. Now I'm against getting shirts of events I wasn't at, but this one was like kind of a gift if I remember right. So,
Okay.
but it was from when they were at Deer Creek in 2020. Yeah, first year at Deer Creek, I believe. Nope,
Huh.
that's a lie. Third year at
Second
Deer
year.
Creek.
Dirty.
I was looking at the bottom. It said Webster City, and I was like, oh wait, that's in 1992. So,
On-air reading fail. But
by the way, you asked me recently if the Harris Clash was ever at Boone, and according to this shirt, they were at Boone in 1994. So
okay.
we
All
we
right.
now we know.
31 years later, they return. So
Who do you think won the very first one? Little trivia for you. It's someone that still races, and you know who they are.
Kelly Shryock.
Yes, he was the first winner, 1992 at Webster City.
Right on. Yeah, that was about the only one I could pull from, like, for sure deep down, you know. Um, but right on. Well, I am wearing. I think you're done talking about that one, yeah.
Yep, I was just reading the back.
No worries. Well, I am reading one. Let's start over. I am wearing a shirt that I picked up this past weekend at Cedar Lake. It's the new Jake Tim design.
Is that a flower like below Jake?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we've got a Hawaiian theme going here, but this one's kind of special to me. So I've been hinting at, like, trying to find an item. I succeeded, so I'm gonna have to stand up and do a little show and tell, but I did succeed. So we've got a crew neck up top.
Oh, they have a
and a hoodie pocket. Tell me that ain't cool. I guess while I'm up, we can take a look at the back because the back's pretty awesome.
Take a look at his backside.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the gorilla on there too.
Oh yeah, yeah. This one was a hit around the house. So I'll probably mention it.
Do they all have the pocket?
No. So this was one that I put the bug in someone's ear about this. So I'd asked Emma a couple times. I'm like, can you get one? Like, do they even exist? And so she was like, I'll try it out. So the word I got was that they were selling pretty good on the first night out. Yeah. So I'm a bit of a trendsetter, if you will. So who would thought the middle-aged dad would have fashion sense, but here we are.
You and all the other middle-aged dads will be wearing them now.
Yeah. Oh, I have a whole spiel I'll save for another day, but I really do like crew necks. They are the superior cold weather alternative, in my opinion. So now that I've got a hoodie pocket,
How you gonna keep your neck warm?
I run hot. This is a pretty simple solution, and I always got a hat on, so I'm retaining heat up here.
You should have asked for strings on it too. Just no hood, just have strings come out of
it. Maybe next time. But this was cool. I showed up and I saw it hanging before I even got a chance to ask, and I was just like, yes, yes, it happened. And so, and then we hung out and talked to Emma, and it's important to mention, like, so I kind of had an idea that it was going to be a Hawaiian theme, and I didn't put two and two together, but Colton absolutely is all about Hawaiian theme stuff. He likes Hawaiian shirts. He likes the flower and stuff you picked up. Like, so he was all about this the second he laid eyes on it. He absolutely was like, Dad, he didn't even put two and two together that the hoodie I was buying was the same design as the shirt he was asking me to buy. Yep, because he looked up and he saw the back with the gorilla and the tube and all the flowers, and just immediately was in love. Like, Dad, can I get that? I was like, of course, buddy. So he got it. So we both picked up a shirt. So that's kind of cool too. We got matching shirts. And then the other cool part about it is they were doing a thing that if you bought the new design, they gave you a lei. So like an actual Hawaiian, the Hawaiian
Oh yeah.
flower necklace. Yeah, the lei. So people were getting laid left and right at the Jake Tim trailer. and but so we ended up him and I both got the shirt, so we each got one, and then Sherry got included because she was hanging out with us. So we all had leis, and by the end of it, Colton was like collecting them and he's like, can we go buy another shirt? I want another lei and stuff. So it was just he hit it out of the park with this design. I thought it was really cool, and just so much so that it made a fan out of Colton. As we were getting ready to leave, we park on the back stretch at Cedar Lake. As we're getting ready to leave, there's like a bunch of traffic, and I'm like, you want to go roam the pits for a minute? He's like, sure. And as we're walking, he's like, do you think you could get something signed by Jake Tim? And I'm like, I'm sure we could, but let's try right now. And so we went over there and he chatted up Jake, and Jake signed a hero card for him and everything. So it's really cool. It's funny how a shirt in a trailer all of a sudden turned into him being like a big old Jake Tim fan. So, and then he had made comment at one point, or I'd made comment at one point. I was like, "So you want this over the B Shep shirt?" And he's like, "Why can't I get both?" And Emma's like, "That's smart," and gave him a high five. And then, of course, on the way home, Colton's like, "I even got a high five from Emma." So they crush it. I do want to say that they made a fan like. My son's 13. I sometimes can get him to go to the racetrack easier or harder. On the way home, he's like, when are you gonna take me to Deer Creek? That's the next one I need to see. And I'm like, well, I'm going in about a month and a half. You can come with. He's like, is Jake gonna be there? It was like the very next question. So, I
Do
mean,
the
it's just
Outlaws race that weekend?
they do
Oh,
unfortunately race
so
that
if they
weekend.
don't,
Yeah.
he probably would be there. But
That's what I said. I said it depends on if the Outlaws are racing. If not, he'll probably be at the Jamboree. But turns out they do race that weekend. So I guess we're rooting for weather in Ohio or something. I don't know. But anyway, I dig the shirt, I dig the hoodie, I dig the whole story. It was really neat. So obviously that leads us into what did you do? And I guess I tipped it off a little bit. I went to Cedar Lake for a couple of days. So I did end up going Friday and Saturday. I don't know. I think you knew that, but
yeah,
yeah, I ended up going Friday and Saturday. Friday was definitely fun going with Colton. He didn't make it to both days. It was technically a mom weekend, so we swung it so he could go on Friday. It was really cool going with him. I will say, I personally have lamented the lack of cell signal at Cedar Lake, although I found some hideaways this weekend. So there are spots that you can make it work. But it worked to my advantage because he couldn't play Dirt Tracking on his phone or Clash of Clans on his phone during the downtime. So he was engaged the whole time, and that was really cool. It was just really fun to have him with us. So
I
that
feel like
made
I feel like I
yeah.
usually have good cell service, but it's probably 'cause I guess USA Nationals. There's so many more people, which obviously kills
Oh,
it. Say I usually, although I think I've only ever been there once as a fan, and when I've streamed there, I can just connect to little routers, I
yeah,
guess. So
yeah, you know all the passwords and stuff when you're working. So, but yeah, I usually only go on the big weekends, so I don't mean to. I guess I haven't been to a weekly show to know how it fares there, but
oh,
I can tell you when the Outlaws are in.
twice. Sorry, I just
Okay.
remembered I was there twice. Anyway, sorry to cut you off. I
No,
knew
you're fine.
Ryan would make a comment if I didn't mention it, so
On here
because
fact checking
he was
yourself.
there with me for both the times I was there as a fan. So
Okay. All right. But yeah, but when the Outlaws are in town, it's rough. But I did find top of a hill that works. But like I said, it worked out cool because he had to be engaged the whole time, and that made it way more fun. We were picking winners each heat race. My buddy Joel actually joined us after the pit walk and stuff, and so like we were all four of us picking heat race winners and the local late models.
did you make oh in the local say did you make a rule like when I was younger you could never pick the guys on the front row. You was not allowed when we were younger.
No, it's almost always like a "who are you rooting for" thing. I think a
Yeah.
little bit more like because like Sherry will always pick the car with pink or purple, and then they break kind of thing. And so she's just like the constant hex on any person she's rooting for, which is just crazy. But then Colton will usually pick whatever number 5 is in the race. So even if he's starting dead last and his duct tape 5, he'll take the 5 and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more of like a rooting interest than who you really think will win kind of thing. But no, we're allowed to pick whoever we want, whatever row. Joel picked up by the third heat that the front row is winning, and so he was going for dubs. He didn't care who he rooted for. So, but yeah, that was cool. Actually, I should mention. So I did do a pit walk as well, and Colton did that with me as well. But I ran into Daniel Adam. Well, actually, I made a point of running into Daniel Adam. He supports us quite a bit on TikTok, and so I figured if him and I were in the same spot, I should make a point of saying hello. So I asked the pit guy if he was around. He came out and introduced myself and thanked him for supporting and gave him some stickers. So we actually had our stickers on the track for the USA Nationals. So we did achieve that goal. So that
Did
was
you
pretty
see
cool.
them?
They're on the
Oh,
A
okay.
post.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah. That's like the downside and the benefit of the size of our sticker. They are unfortunately small, but they fit on the A post of a modified and late model. So you win some, you lose some. In-car interviews, man, we're right there. So, but yeah, so I did confirm that they were on the car because I gave them to him on Friday, and I saw him on Saturday when I walked the pits too.
Oh yeah. Walking through
So
the pits, you can always find them. Sometimes when you're in the stands, you're like, I think that's it, but I can't really tell from here. And then you
yeah.
pull
And
out your
them
phone
super
and zoom
late,
in.
yeah, them super late models go real fast on track too. I did see everything, but they were on. So I thought that was cool. We made it to the USA Nationals. That was pretty awesome. And then I saw Tim in the pits, and I made a beeline for him. So Tim Hunt is high side race shots, and he helped us out with the thumbnail last episode, and he's actually helping us out with the thumbnail again this episode. So, but anyway, I made a point to just beeline over there and tell him thank you. He does such good work. He really does phenomenal work. I'm an absolute fan of his work. That's why I got up the balls to ask him in the first place. Was because he just does really good stuff, and I've been a fan of it for a long time.
You
Um,
you sent me like 4 photos, and it was like, which one should I pick? And really, all 4 of them would have been like totally fine for him.
Absolutely lights out. Every one of them would have been. So, I mean, you should go check them out. It's High Side Race Shots on Facebook, and then highsideraceshots.com is where you can actually, find his full catalog of stuff he's done over the years and everything. So definitely go check it out. Pick out a digital shot or something. Every little bit helps. And Tim's he's a great dude. I'm going to get long-winded here, but I'll try to make it short. I remember shortly after I started trying to do this DirtInfo thing, I ran into Tim in the pits in Superior, and I just kind of asked the question of like, how do you get comfortable being down here? Because it was like maybe the second time I'd ever been in the pits, and I really just felt like a fish out of water. And his advice, I mean, it's so simple, but in retrospect, like I'm almost 4 years later, and I go, it was completely true. He's like, you just keep coming around, and they'll start to recognize your face. They'll start to kind of, trust you a little bit at least. Like you're not just some rando standing by the car taking a picture. Like they've seen you a handful of times. Like it really is just that simple. Just keep showing up. And that's also, a speech I remember from a Deer Creek a few years back too, of like when they were talking about Arnie Ranta, and it was just like, just be there. Just get in the pits, walk around, say hello when it's convenient, and it'll build. So, not only is he an awesome photographer, he's just a really good dude. So please go support him. I can't say enough about how good of a dude he is. So I really appreciate him. Thank you. But yeah, so then the racing, give or take. I mean, I just got heats.
Yeah.
That was
Well, for the Outlaws, yeah.
for the Outlaws. I did get a full. Colton coined them the Cedar Lake models, and I love it. It just that Cedar Lake late models is just one too many of the syllables. Cedar Lake models, but the Cedar Lake models are pretty cool. I regretfully can't recall who won, and I didn't write it down, but
Uh,
it was a good race. I know that James Giassi won on Saturday. I can't recall
did
who won on
Pat
Friday.
Dorr won one of the days, right? Or was that did he win Thursday?
No, He must have won Thursday. He did
Maybe he
not
won a
win
heat
Friday. He
race
was
though.
painfully
We'll
slow.
we'll do some
But
live research while you
some
talk.
live stuff. But yeah, the racing was pretty good. The wildest thing, I don't know if you saw, I know that because you were at your own races and stuff and trying to follow along, but did you see what happened in the pole dash on Friday between Tim and
I did
Alberson?
see that. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Had
definitely a bummer if you were wearing a lay. Who won?
Ashley Anderson.
And Ashley
Pat
Anderson.
Dorr. Oops.
The
Pat Dorr won Thursday,
Okay, yeah.
which would make
And I
sense if I
should
remembered
remember.
it. So it was the only day I
Yeah,
could watch. So
yeah,
of them at least.
yeah. I should remember that too, because it's a very distinctive car. 81, bright yellow and black. Like
Yeah.
hard to forget the car. But yeah. So no, so Tim and Alberson got together in the pole dash on lap 2 of a six lap dash. Tim was leading and trying to block, and Alberson stuffed it up on the high side up when he was kind of circling at the flag stand, and Tim whipped through. You saw it, but he whipped through
Yeah.
and bust up the nose. Thankfully, didn't have to go to the backup car. I think most everyone will know that.
And
Wasn't
it was a pole
Go ahead.
dash. So I mean, worst case scenario, assuming the car is fine, is you start six, right? There's 6 cars in it.
Yeah,
So like it's not like it was like the heat race or something. It's like crap. Now we're screwed the rest of the weekend.
yeah. Now we're undigging. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
at worst you're 6, and it was interesting because the two guys that started that on the front row. So it was Tim, I think, started second, and Tyler Bruning started first in the pole dash. Tim got in the wreck and finished 6th. Bruning fell back to 5th, and then had to go to a backup car and ended up in the back of the field. Yeah. So you didn't want to be on the front row of that. You did not. Um, but I will say he was in good spirits afterwards, because I'd mentioned we got into the pits afterwards, and there was a young gal, a young fan, and Jake was talking to the mom and like, if you want it, you can take it. And I was like, is he trying to give them the nose? Like, I suppose that makes it a little bit easier than hauling it back. So he was offering it up to a fan and her mom, and the dad's like, "There's no way that'll fit in the car." And the mom's like, "We'll make it
I would say
work."
I'd absolutely be taking that with me. I remember side story. I remember at Luxembourg, when I was younger, after the races, we'd always go walk in the infield, and they'd throw like junk body panels, like in the infield, inside the big infield tires. Um,
Mhm.
and I remember I found a whole bumper in there, and hopefully the guy didn't need it, because if he did, it was not there when he went looking for it, because I dragged that thing home with me. It was from a hobby stock. And I took it home.
You still got it, or did you eventually have to
So
get
what
rid
we
of it?
did is I had my so there was it was just a black bumper, but there was a number, like a small little sticker with the number on it. And so my
Okay.
dad cut out just that part. And then I don't know where I have the number somewhere. It's probably like off in like a bag or something, but I kept the little
Okay.
part of the bumper with the number on it. But I got
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
a bunch of wheel covers which are on the wall that you can't see that I just found like in the infield at a racetrack that I would just grab, especially because those are broken. They don't need those, so I just take those. And
Yeah.
I usually would get them signed. I have one full of signatures and stuff. So
Awesome. Awesome. See, yeah, you grew up at a racetrack, which I think is super cool. You see those kids. Sherry made a point when they were farming it on Saturday, just like all the kids, there's just kids all up and down the fence on the backstretch, just playing catch, running around, having fun. It was just
yeah,
like,
that's
that
what we
is
used to do.
Yeah, it reminds me of an era that I don't think as many kids get to do. I don't know. If anyone hasn't picked up yet, I think I have a nostalgic bent to me, but there's a little bit of throwback about all of this dirt race and stuff, and I really enjoy it. And it was super cool to see the kids all those kids just playing football and running around and having a grand old time. And the adults are like, "Oh, it's freaking form needs to hurry up." And the kids were just oblivious. They were just having fun. So, yeah.
Can I add one more story kind of related to the
Yeah,
last one that
of
so
course.
trailer you know what a trailer race is, right? Like where they got
It's
like
where
the
you
boats
race
and
while
crap.
hauling a trailer,
And then you got
yeah.
it smashed. So Luxembourg used to have them like all the time. They used to get a bunch of trailers for it, and that was the best for picking up crap off the track and bringing it home. And one year, my mom, dad, and some friends, there was like a toilet from a camper or something, and so they brought that back and put it in like their garden, and then used it as like a flower pot. But yeah, we took home like a
Like,
whole
as a
toilet
filler.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, we
Awesome.
that was heaven for a kid who's getting getting a ton of crap that you don't need at all just to bring it home and let it sit in the
Yeah.
yard.
Yeah, and you don't live but 5 minutes
No,
by
so yeah,
foot,
so
so it
for us it
wasn't
was
even
fine.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just carry it. We could make multiple trips if we wanted. We didn't, but we
Yeah,
could.
if there's stuff you really like, you can just double back. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just to wrap up Friday real quick because there's a running joke. The fireworks were phenomenal, and I'm glad I had to the feature had to wait. I'm just saying, man, those were good. They put on such a show. It was like a solid 15 minutes of fireworks. It was a lot. It was they crushed it. I know you're not for all that pomp and circumstance and stuff, but I loved it. It's technically pomp and circumstance, not is, but anyway. But yeah, I loved it. It was super cool. Colton even was trying to make fun of us at first, like, "Oh, finally fireworks! You guys have been talking about how you haven't got any fireworks." And about 5 minutes in, he's like, "Dang, they go all out." It's like, yeah, you can see why we've been frustrated about this. So, anyway, that was good. Um, and then on Saturday, it was a bit of the same kind of thing. Went to the same track, went to the same vendors
Yeah.
row, walked through the same pits. So that was kind of cool. Joel walked the pits with this time. Walked the pits with us this time. He hadn't the time before. So that little slightly interesting dynamic, adding another person. So that was fun. I I had someone come up to me. So the Travis Sauer pit guys came up to me as I was like wrapping up, and they're like, "Hey, you're not wearing the 1-for-1 hat that you got." And I was like, "Yeah, but I did wear it on the podcast last week, so there's like a whole week's worth of shorts and stuff with it on." And he's like, "Oh, dang, that's awesome." And then the other guy's like, "We managed to keep the sticker on the car the whole night." And I was like, all right, I know that was a concern when I handed him over. So, um, but it was funny that he had mentioned that because I wore my I almost wore the same outfit as from the podcast. And the only reason I didn't is because I was like, it's a brand new hat. And I'm like, if I wear this there, I'm going to sweat through it. I'm going to wreck it on the first outdoor wear because I'm a heavy sweater. I'm a big man. So like I left it at home, but it was just so funny that they kind of mentioned it. And I was like, you'll never believe this, but it was down to the final two. It was so anyway. Um, but I should mention the Blinky show. I actually managed to hang on to mine. The Blinky show was super cool for the driver intros.
Did they
That
take him back?
is no, they
Oh,
didn't take
okay.
them back. You get to keep them. They took them over though.
No, like they
So
programmed into him, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they had they for the 30 minutes or so leading up to it. Well, hour. It was a pretty long track prep. They redid the whole track. But anyway, the whole way leading into it, they're like, you gotta have them on, you gotta have them on. And I was like, okay, they want everyone to participate. Well, the lights go out, and all of a sudden everyone switches to the same color. It's both cool and creepy at the same time. um, because the whole conversation home was like, how do you think they managed that? But it was cool because they they'd switch it with the songs, and then they'd switch it with the driver intros. All of the outlaws had like a lighted light that they came out with to indicate they were an
Oh,
outlaw.
an outlaw
And
driver.
yep, and most of the time the blinky would switch to match the color of their sign. So it was really cool, and they would try to always match the color up when they'd introduce the driver. It'd switch on the name, and it'd go to like a primary color or a color of their car. So it was all really cool. The dome driver intros are
I
awesome,
would
but
say
like
I
this
was
is
just thinking the Dome should implement this with it, like just steal it. I don't like that because in the with the Dome, like it would be sweet too, with all the people like all the way surrounded too. Like that would look sweet with that implemented into
it
it.
it would look super awesome. I was just gonna mention, like I know because there was a couple different people I heard either conversations or one guy I ran into and talked for a little bit and kind of mentioned like, well, it's not like the dome. And I'm like, but everything can't be the dome.
Exactly.
Like the dome, you can't have everything that perfect. It takes a lot to make it that awesome,
The Dome
but
also
like,
has access to like a stadium. Like
yes.
they can do obviously Cedar Lake does have the big screen. Not as well as not as good as the Dome one, but yeah, they
Yeah,
can do more at the Dome just the way because it's a
right.
stadium.
Right. But this is a 3/8 mile outdoor track
Exactly.
that was almost packed, and they made it feel as electric and as cool as they could. And maybe it was as electric or cooler than the dome. Maybe it's not. Oh, I think my point is we should just appreciate that they did a killer freaking job, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm bringing up the dome as a counterpoint mostly because I just heard it a lot. And I'm just kind of like, we should just enjoy it for what it is. They crushed the shit out of this.
Yeah, I feel
It
like
was awesome.
I don't hear about like good driver intros except for Cedar Lake and the Dome. Like those are the only place where I hear of like entertaining driver intros. Most of the time it's and here's so and they come out and wave and
Yeah.
sometimes that's how the Dome is too. These guys not doing anything cool,
Every now and
but
again. Yep. Yeah, but
but
you'll
yeah.
get those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like even at the Dome they got lights and stuff. But yeah, like most of the time it's fully lit up. Here's this person, they walk out and that's it. But like Cedar Lake you hear about it because of the light show and whatever, the big spotlight
Mhm.
they got, and then the Dome obviously with the music and crap. But
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool, they come out on the backstretch and the spotlight hits them as soon as because like the one car's driving and they're trying to give him his shine as the other guy's staging up, but then as soon as they drop his name, he's about midway down the backstretch. Boom, spotlight on him, blinkies change. It's just so cool. It's just like it's timed up. You can tell they put a lot of work into it. It's just a really good intro and I enjoy the heck out of it. I'm so glad we have some really cool shows in my area, our area. This isn't that far from you. If you didn't have to work, you could have been there without
yeah,
much
I
trouble, you
probably could
know.
have been
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. So it's cool that we have an event like this. So the racing was honestly my takeaway of the feature was Gustin leg dropped him is what it felt like. He powered around Alberson early and then like nobody. I mean, there's a few challengers here there who like, ooh, can he get to him?
Yeah,
But
but
no. But no, no, they
yeah,
couldn't.
yeah, because I watched that. I think they like I was like halfway home and they just got done with driver intros and like I was like, oh, once Shepard got a second, I was like, oh, Shepard's gonna get to him and just like never
Yep.
happened. I don't know. I think that was really. Did anyone else get up to second and like really challenge? Like not challenge, but even like
Oh,
in for a second, you're like, oh, this guy might get him. I feel like Shepard once.
Madden
Yeah,
Madden was
Madden.
running second and third for a while, and that was more like a second half of the race. He'll be
Oh,
coming, right? He saves his tires, and he ended up fading,
there
and
was a point too in
um,
Marlar. I don't think Marlar got to second, but he got like he passed like two cars in a lap and got up to like third, and I was like, oh, he's coming. And
yeah.
then he got to
Well,
third
Marler
and just
finished second.
okay. So he did get okay. So but
Yep.
yeah, it was.
He did.
I thought he was gonna get there, and then he never really got to Gustin at all. He was
He never really did. That was sort of the story. Like Sheppy got to second pretty quick, but couldn't really close the gap to Gustin in any meaningful way. Marlar like came from the 16th or
I
something
think
and
that's what
came
they
on
said. Yeah.
late. Yep, came on late to like a second place run, but he never really had anything for Gustin. So that was my takeaway. Was Gustin was the class of the field on that night, and that's so cool. That was his first late model or not late model win. His first crown jewel win, late model crown jewel win. I think at a track that he's won a big payday before. I think
Yeah.
he won 50 grand at the
It was at
Masters
least
at Cedar
50.
Lake.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know it was at least 50. I don't know if it was
yeah,
more or not, but I think
yeah,
50 was right. Because that was like,
yeah.
so like 2016-ish or something. Like I remember it happening.
Sounds right. Yeah, sounds right. They mentioned it on the broadcaster
Yeah.
slash over the loudspeaker a couple times that so you're like I'm gonna remember that, and then the time comes to remember it, and you're like shit. But yeah, so that sounds all approximately accurate. So, but it was cool to see him pick up this one. He seemed really emotional. He is a bit of a fan favorite in this area. So like Jake Tim, when that thing happened in the pole dash and Alberson came out of his car, he got booed. Like Alberson got booed. You know, there was a lot of Tim fans in the stands, but Gustin's win was definitely one that was also a fan favorite victory. Like the fans were very pumped about Gustin's win. So you know, the energy in the racetrack was very much behind him to take home the dub. So that's always cool too
I don't know
when that happens.
if Albertson should have got booed there. I feel like that was not necessarily his fault when I saw the replay. Not that, I don't want to like blame Jake either, but I just feel like I don't think that was Albertson's fault from what I saw.
It felt like a racing deal to
Yeah,
me. I mean,
because
I'm on the back stretch. That's happening on the front stretch. I have a pretty good sight line to it, but obviously I'm not. I'm on the further away. But even when I saw it, it just kind of was like, I don't know what anyone really does there. Joel looked at me. He's like, because afterwards Alberson gets out of the car and he's like, that was my fault. I shouldn't have been going so hard there. And Joel's point was just kind of like, well, but you have the run. Like,
Yeah.
if not, then when? Like, and I get it, and I do kind of agree, right? Like at the highest levels of late model, when you have that run, you got to take the shot, right? And you're hoping the guy senses you before he gets there. And in this one, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to stuff a guy in the wall in a 6 laps pole dash. So I'm going to go with Jake had no idea he was there, right?
Yeah, because to
He
me,
just got there
because
that
they
quick.
had a camera in turn one, and to me, from that angle, it looked like Alberson pretty much held him straight, and Jake Tim went up, and I just don't think he realized Alberson was right there when he went up. It's like he like faded out like they do when they run the bottom, and then they kind of go back
Yep.
down, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
Alberson was there. That's yeah, just like a racing deal. But I guess from
Yep.
when you're there too, sometimes it happens so fast, and you're like, oh, this guy wrecked him. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if a boo was warranted, but if you're Jake Tim
I don't.
fans,
Yeah. And I think it was a partly that, right? Like the local, kind of the local
yeah,
guy. Jake's raced there a ton outside of just Outlaws, but yeah, like that. But by the time he was done, he got cheered. I think him taking a little bit of ownership. Although I did look at Joel and go, I don't agree with his assessment of the situation. I'm not, like, far be it to me to disagree with a very good late model driver, but from where I was sitting, he had the run. Like, I don't. You just go, that's a racing deal. I hate it. I appreciate him going. Maybe 6 lap pole dash isn't where you stuff it in, but he's like, I'm trying to put on a show for the fans and everything, which I appreciated. I wasn't getting a feature race, so I had to get something. So there's a lot that goes into it, but yeah, I don't think he really. I think it was a racing deal all the way
yeah.
around. It seemed that way. Tim seemed to be in perfectly good spirits in the pits too. Like it didn't feel like there was a lingering, like, son of a,
Yeah.
it was just, hey, it happens. So all in all, it was a really cool racing weekend, and I had a lot of fun. And I'm gonna be going back to this event. I know with you working, it's hard, but maybe we can find a way to get you out there one of these.
I could
It's
go to the
so
Thursday
fun,
portion.
man. Yeah, that's not even technically the national, especially if you're doing a 2-day show format. That's just
Yeah,
that's
that's
just a
just
warm up.
an added
But
day.
yeah, but even that day, the stands were freaking packed on Dirt Vision. I saw they were
And I get a feature
absolutely,
that day.
and you get a whole feature. But yeah, it's cool. It is also really cool to go to both days of a 2-day show. I
Oh
don't do
yeah.
that very often.
Yeah,
I usually just hit up the main day, but
I am like I don't like going to one day of a 2-day show. Especially if it's a local track, I don't care as much, but like yeah, if I'm going far and it's like a Friday, Saturday, I have to be there for both days or else it's like I didn't see what led up to this Saturday point. Like I feel like it's yeah, it does not feel right.
yeah, Sherry had mentioned too. She's like, I'm really glad we did it because you just kind of get a feel for the energy of the event, the vibe,
Yeah.
the whatever you want to call it, right? Like, you're feeling all of this build from qualifying to really intense. Those heat races were super intense. They called Moran on a jump start and he had to run a B. Like, and he was on the outside pole to start that. So, like, they were intense. Like, but you just feel it the whole way instead of just showing up on a Saturday and being like, "Oh, these bees or whatever. Let's start the feature." Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, that was a lot of talking about a really cool event. But you also went racing, so hit
Yeah,
us up on
mine will be
what's going on.
about a 30-second thing. I went to Luxembourg and Plymouth. Yeah, I went other places this week, but we talked about it already in the last
Yeah, we've
episode.
already
So
covered it. Yep, yep. All right, nothing noteworthy, at least for
not that
you.
I can remember now.
Very so that's not always bad, right? A fairly uneventful night of racing at the local track isn't always terrible. Like, it beats what could be an eventful night, so that's right on. Um, well, I think the thing you mostly followed along with was the thing that I was at, right? Outside of kind of what you were doing, following along with
Yeah,
the
that
USA
on
Nationals.
Saturday I think that was the only thing I watched because well, it
Yeah.
helped that it started late.
It didn't hurt. But so, well, I was following along with a couple other things. Obviously, I didn't watch much of it. I caught highlights, checked MRP. The thing, the way you follow stuff when you're at a track. But so USMTS had a three day swing this past weekend. They started out at Creek County, and then they had the 2-day Slick Miss Show Me shootout at Lucas Oil Speedway. So, Carter, I think every time we bring them up, I mentioned 3 to 4 guys. I'm saying there's only a handful of guys in the championship. Do you remember some of the guys I remember? Who are some of the people I bring up?
Sanders,
Yep.
Tanner Mullen,
Yep.
uh, Jim Chisholm,
Yep.
and Strickler, although I don't know if he's
Yeah.
there
I
or
think
not.
he's
Last
not
time we
there
talked, he
anymore.
wasn't there, so
Yeah, yeah. So, oh, by the way, he showed up to answer our own
oh
question.
yeah.
If you win $125,000 and you haven't been running great, do you go? You go. And it turns out you win too. So the reason I asked you to bring that up is because we had 3 winners on the weekend. Rodney Sanders won Thursday at Creek County. Tanner Mullins won Friday at Lucas, and then Kyle Strickler won Saturday at Lucas. And then Jim Chisholm didn't win, but had, I believe, a second, a third, and a ninth. And so, like, I mean, these guys, that is the storyline. I think I saw they're down to 14 events. So things are tightening up. Championship battle wise, it really, barring something really funky happening, it's Sanders leading by a somewhat comfortable but not insurmountable margin, followed by Mullins and Chisholm. Those 3 are still, without a doubt, absolutely in it. A couple nights, one way or the other, anyone can take the lead. And then Joe Chisholm and Kyle Strickler are running 4th and 5th, and they're a little bit back, but they're in their own little battle for 4th and 5th, and that's really the top 5 guys as points go. I'm excited. We're getting closer and closer, and we're going to get a championship battle down the stretch, Carter. I'm telling you, I can just feel it. So, but the top guys keep being the top guys. I mean, they're just that dang good. So, it's going to be cool. I'm excited. Like I mentioned when I'm talking about, USA Nationals, Colt and I already have a plan to go to the Jamboree. So, I'm excited that when that gets here, but that's a bit away. But this
Too
season's
far.
gonna be cool.
End of the month,
Well,
right? Or no, it's in
end of
September.
September.
Last
Yeah,
year
they
was in
went back
August.
to
Yeah.
the regular. Yeah, they
Yeah.
went back to the regular um timing. So, but yeah, I I'm bummed that they're off for 2 weeks. They'll be back in 2 weeks, but I'm gonna miss them this week. That's probably my favorite series to follow. So that's why I always talk about it. But anyway, and then Northern Lights also ran. So the regional version of the USMTS, if you will. The Northern Lights ran Friday at Cresco, saw Jacob Blees won, and then Saturday they were at Winneshiek, and that's how Brandon Davis win. And those 2 dudes are the ones battling for their championship as well. And they're down to just 5 races. So
And 3
that
of
one's
them
tight.
are in one weekend at Mississippi
Yeah.
Thunder, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's the North Star Nationals, I
Yep.
think. So it's a
That
pretty
was
big
yeah, I was gonna go to that until I had stuff in the schedule change, but yeah, that was one I was thinking about going to.
Yeah. And Davis and Blees might win a whole bunch there. Blees in a stock car, maybe a modified 2. Davis wins a lot. So it could be an interesting battle. They're very tight. But they have a small schedule, so that stands to reason, right? It's
Yeah.
hard to get a big lead if you've got a fairly tight schedule. So they're up again this Friday at Fairmont. They just got 1 show this weekend. And then you were telling me about a show we forgot. There was
Oh,
a big show
yes.
that apparently missed our radar.
The XR Woomba, which was supposed to happen in May or April, I think. I think it
I
was
think that sounds
April. It
right.
was at Kokomo. It's 100,000 to win for the sport compacts, and they had what 174, I think it was
Something like
this
that.
number. And
Yep.
oh, who won? Who was it? Reed? Is it Reed Christensen?
It
Is that the name?
it is. It is Reed
From
Christensen. You
Georgia?
nailed it. Springfield, Georgia. Yep.
Yeah, and I didn't watch the stream, but I was paying attention to live timing, and I think 5 cars finished by the end of that. I think it was a 60 lap feature.
Okay.
It was a battle of attrition, I guess, for that one. It
Yeah.
was, but I mean, one guy left with 100K, so
Right. I mean, it was a bit of a dice roll, honestly. The whole thing is a bit of a gamble, it feels like, but that guy hit gold. I mean, that's pretty awesome. A
that would have been
hundred
a good.
thousand for basically Hornets or sport compacts or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call them. That's crazy.
I better see that guy in at least a street stock next year or something.
He's gonna have the most badass Hornet ever.
Although he's from that SC DRA area, so
DRA,
you probably
yeah,
race for
yeah.
more in the compact versus like a street stock,
Right?
so you might as well
Yeah.
stay in one. And those compacts are sweet. They are. I think I mentioned it on our Talladega episode because I had that rule package when I was down there. But I was watching. Caught like a couple of the Facebook lives, and they were like running the top, like right up where the cushion is where they were running. By me, and I know the Wasota ones. It's usually around the bottom, maybe the middle.
Mhm.
That's all you really get out of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, those things are cool. I don't think that's anything close to like a
oh
sport
yeah,
compact.
those
Like
ones are.
they're all
And I
yeah.
like the ones west, but yeah, the ones down south are like badass to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
It's throwing slide jobs and everything.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So, well, I was giggling when you mentioned how many finished because I was getting updates from you in the Discord server. I was kind of getting a kick out of it. So yeah, I think at one point you said four, and then you had to clarify the next day
Because
that
I
in
was
fact
watching
it
the live
was
timing,
five.
and when it finished, it said the guy in fifth was minus a lap, so I didn't know if he pulled off. But then
Okay,
I went back, and he did finish. So
he did finish. All right. Well, woof.
that would have been a good race to just pull the benchy strat and just hang out, and you would have got hard charger no problem.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I just
You might
it
have
sounds
won
like
that
when you
thing if
lose
you just hung out.
you might you hang out long enough. Yeah, it feels like I assume they started 24 or something, but
I think so. Yeah.
it feels with that many dropping out. It's like there's no place on track that was safe. You weren't safe anywhere. But anyway, um, so congratulations to Reed. That is cool, though. I mean, at the end of the day, that's super awesome. 100,000 and for a sport compact is awesome.
Oh
So,
yeah.
um, you lose me?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Anyway, so that means we're going to probably transition into what we're doing, and I'm going to be an old boring dad, and I can mention that in a minute. But you're actually doing a little bit of racing, so let's have you lead off.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to the Harris Clash tomorrow as of when we're recording this, but when it comes out, it'll have been yesterday for the people
That's right.
listening. Um, so you guys will know who have won by the time it comes out. But I saw they did say there's supposed to be there's 200 pre-registered in three divisions, mods, stock cars, and sport mods. But I know there's some people on the list that aren't going, so we'll see if we actually get 200. But I did see Ricky Thornton Jr.'s come.
Yeah,
He
I
was
was gonna
supposed to
say.
come to this guy. This is a rescheduled show from June. And he said he'll be there in the mod and stock car. And I think Ethan Dotson's coming. I don't know. The ASD Motorsports was giving me some conflicting info. I don't know if they know where he's going to be. I do know as of recording, he's at that Buena Vista Raceway. I
Yeah.
think I said it right, in a modified.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up tomorrow. But
That would make
so yeah,
sense.
I remember one year, Mike Marlar ran a mod at Deer Creek. So I don't think he's going to be there, but I remember that happened. That was kind of weird. But so
Well,
yeah, a
he's
few.
well, was in the area. He's probably
Exactly. I think that's
probably
that was why.
yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see who shows up. I'll be happy with like 150. If we get 50 per division, I'd be satisfied. If we get 200, that's just bonus. So,
Yeah.
uh, but then yeah, so I
So I got a
guess
question for you.
go ahead.
Does RTJ being there make you feel like is it a factor in this, or is it just like cool he's gonna be there, but I'm pumped for 150
Cooley's gonna be
IMCA
there,
cars.
but I would have changed nothing if he wasn't going. It
Yeah.
might actually make it worse because he might win by 10 seconds and ruin what could be a good feature. So if based off what happened a few weeks ago in Nebraska, so
We'll check back in and see how Carter feels about RTJ's presence next week. No, I was just curious, right? Because I think we're sort of that seasoned race fan. We've seen RTJ race enough where it's
yeah,
like,
I've
yeah,
seen
it's
him
cool that
run
he's
at
gonna be
my
there, but like
local
I'm not
tracks and
like,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, oh, cool name added to an already loaded field. So,
yeah, yeah.
but then after that, I have like two options, and it'll kind of be decided Thursday when I know how busy work is. But I'm either gonna stay local and do uh, WIR, which is Wisconsin International Raceway. It's an asphalt track, and they run Thursdays. And then I usually try to get there at least once a year, and it's a
Yeah,
special for the super stocks, which uh, are pretty much street stocks, and those are way
yeah.
better than asphalt late models. So,
All
um,
right.
and then Friday I would go to Seymour because Luxembourg is running Sunday, which we'll get to in a bit. But alternative option is if looks like it's going to be a short day on Friday, I might go to Lafayette County Speedway, or it's in Darlington, so I call it Darlington, but I didn't want to confuse it with the NASCAR track. But they have their final points night, and they don't really have anything special going on, but they start in end of April and get done the second weekend of August, so there's not much time to really go there. Um, and it's so far away, and I figured I might as well take my chance to go there if I can get it. And I've never been there, and I need to knock it off my list of tracks in Wisconsin. So yeah, I don't know where I'll go. I'll decide Thursday, maybe even Friday. I might go to Kaukauna or WIR and then still go there. But
Mm.
the only reason I wouldn't go to Kaukauna is just because I got a long week upcoming, so I figured I'd take a day off that Thursday. But then
Yeah, if
Saturday,
you're doing a long 4-hour drive the next day, that
well,
makes sense
that
to rest up.
and then this next week I have races Tuesday through Sunday, so the next week coming up. So that's kind of, I was like, might as well, when I get a day off, I might as well take it. So, but then Saturday I'll be at Plymouth, and then Sunday Luxembourg races. It's the prelude to the Captain, and the Captain is the 10,000 to win Sport Mod show at 141. Which I guess I'll mention it because half of half of it'll happen, and the other, like,
For the
yeah,
most
because it's on a Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, 10,000 to win. Um, First day, it's like the other two shows. First day is qualifying night for the sport mods, and then the features on Wednesday. And then they just announced too, they added, so the first day was supposed to be mods and legends, and then they added stock cars to it too. So it's 4 classes. I don't know if that means they're expecting a low amount of sport mods or what, but and then the second
big
day was
point.
supposed to be stock cars and street stocks, but then they added mods. So mods and stock cars are on both days now. Um, but yeah, so we'll talk a bit more about it on next week, I'm sure. Yeah, those are my plans. I'll be a little bit of a busy week. So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to watch that show at 141. I hope I get to see the winner. I just throwing it out. I really hope I get to see the race for the lead this time. I really hope I do.
you can see the race for fourth. How about that?
Yeah, I for the whole feature. If we go green to checker, we might not check in. I hate to be, I'm being as nice as I can be right now, but like it bears needing to be said. Like I heard all about Benji and Mike Mullen a couple weeks ago. I heard all about it. It sounded freaking fantastic. I couldn't tell you if it actually was, though. I can tell you they were thrown down for 8th through 10th, which was also a very good battle, but not for the lead. That poor man, announcer man, he is like calling out colors and numbers and track positions, just like begging.
Begging the camera. I am not the
Yeah.
camera guy there, so
It's the green, blue, and red card. It's just like turn 3, going into turn 4. They'll be going down the front stretch here in a minute. He was working overtime. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm excited to watch that show. Hopefully, I'll get to see the race for the lead. But yeah, as I mentioned, this is dad weekend. I've been racing 3 weekends in a row. I've gone and hit it hard, and this weekend we're gonna go try to find a Ford Ranger for Xavier, for my oldest. He turns 16 in a couple of weeks here, so he is locked in 2.5 weeks before his 16th birthday that he wants a 4x4 Ford Ranger with a V6. He's got a low budget of about $3,500, and he'd like to keep the rust at a minimum. I guess I'm telling you all this, Carter, in case anyone listening happens to know someone with this truck, because we're a buyer. We're in Minnesota. Anyway, if you, a family member, someone you know, of all the ads I could be doing, I'm doing an ad for my 16-year-old son to get a car.
we'll take trades too. We'll give you DirtInfo stickers, and you give him
Yeah.
a Ford Ranger.
I have like 150 left. They're all yours for a working Ford Ranger. Anyway, so I'll be doing that. Colton has baseball tryouts on Saturday, so we'll be doing some of that. I plan on going helping my parents this weekend as well, get some stuff cleaned up. I might leave with a trailer full of hand-me-down stuff, but I'm cool with that. Yeah, my dad is Dad's doing a little bit of downsizing. You know, I told you before that I was gonna do 2 shirts. And speaking of my dad, real quick, I'm just gonna real quick since I brought him up. I actually at USA Nationals picked up another shirt too, and I want to show this off because it's really cool. So I got this Dan Ebert shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember how I told you the USA one? I was definitely getting one for my dad. So I did. And so it's kind of cool. I actually bumped into Dan in the pits before I purchased this, and I got to tell him my USA one story a little bit. I gave him the abbreviated version. I didn't talk his ear off. And so, and he even he's like, in our area, that was the one. I was like, all right. So I'm getting, I'm getting some people here. So, but I was unsure of the size for dad, so I brought it over on Saturday morning to try out the one I had gotten. It turned out I had gone the wrong direction. Thankfully, they hooked me up. They let me swap it out on Saturday. But in talking to my dad, he actually, and I forgot this part of the story, but that USA One monster truck used to just pull into the gas station that my dad worked at, and my dad would pump gas in it. And he was laughing. He's like, "Yeah, he'd pull in, and he'd have to be like." So, this shirt's even cooler now. Like just every part of this, just it gets cooler. So I wanted to mention that for sure. But anyway, so that's my weekend. It's just gonna be family, and I'll probably watch what we're gonna talk about here, here and there. But I'll be spending it mostly with family and stuff. So anyway, as far as what I might be watching, the number one with the bullet on my list is the North South 100. And you and I were talking before this, and it feels like neither one of us have really seen as much of this show as it feels like we should have. And
Yeah,
you had made mention, and I didn't think about it, but it's Eastern, the Eastern time zone, and that really does screw it up for us a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah. Like it being at Cedar Lake last weekend was great for you, right? They started the feature at 11. You're already on your way home.
exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if they start the feature at 11 at the North South 100, I'll be probably packing up at Plymouth. There's,
Yep.
like, and I feel like they usually start it earlier. I don't know. I feel like I've never really watched the feature from there, like
I
ever.
feel
So
like they're done very quick. You are
yeah.
not wrong. So I'm gonna try to catch this a little bit more. So they're running 3 days, so that's gonna help us. We've got Thursday and a double set of. I think they got 2 qualifying features, each are 6K on Thursday, and then they're gonna run it back and do the same thing on Friday, and then on Saturday it's 7,500 to win. So it's a big paying show. 100 laps,
75,000.
obviously. 75,000, not 100. What an idiot.
Real
Thank you
big
for the
deal.
correction.
7,500.
Yeah. Yeah. They cut it into a tenth of what it used to be. No, 75,000. Thank you for the correction. But so big money race. I mean, so sort of returning the favor that we were talking about for USA Nationals in Fairbury, returning the favor. Woo is off this weekend now. And Lucas is running this show. So conceivably, I don't know, we can put one of the comments we made previously to the test, like, do they travel? Are they traveling more now? Did we call them out? But probably pick up Bobby for sure. He's, I think, 2-time reigning, defending, back-to-back champion of that thing, so he'll likely be there. But who else do we see from the Outlaws show up? It'll be interesting. You think Hoffman goes this one? You kind of called me out when I mentioned him and said, but
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. These guys also have had to have raced back-to-back weekends. Some of the guys could have taken off, like the Lucas guys. You know what I mean? I don't know.
true.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I bet you
Yeah.
Dennis Erb will be at the Mars shows. I don't know. He likes to run those, so
There is that, right? So Mars is running, not against them, but it just is running in Illinois. So a lot of the Illinois guys have an option to be closer to home and also, run for decent money with Mars. Where are they again?
Sycamore and Macon.
Sycamore and Macon. Yeah. No mods with them.
No. Well,
They
there's
don't have
mods with them at Macon, but
there, but
not
not the
not
Mars
Mars
mod.
mods. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Sycamore has no mods at all. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I should have asked this question an hour ago, but I'm asking it right now. Do you know if there's any support class for the North South 100?
they used to run modifieds with them. I don't know if
Okay.
they still do. I only remember this says one year it rained, and so they ran at like midnight. And I
Okay.
remember watching mod heat races at like midnight one year.
Okay. So I'm gonna just throw this out there. I saw like a bit of a clickbait post by Josh Rice or the Rice Brothers Racing on Facebook.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be running a modified there. If they're running modifieds, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be Josh or his brother James will be running a modified or both. But that's my guess. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, Rice Brothers Racing on Facebook, they posted like a emblem. And I was like,
yeah.
what is this? But that is not, I can tell you this much. It is not a late model with sail panels. So I, I'm feeling fairly confident. Ooh, we've got some modified baiting going on there. Are you looking at it right now as we
I'm
talk?
looking up to see if they're running mods. They're not really.
Okay.
Their
Doesn't really tell
schedule of
you.
events just says all late models, but they used to run mods with it. I don't
Okay.
know if they.
It very well could be an all late model weekend, and they were just hinting at something down the road. But that's why I said we should have probably asked that question earlier. But anyway, we'll let that lie. The other thing that I'll be probably more MRP watching is the Wasota Late Model Challenge Series is at Red Cedar and Rice Lake. So I like them guys. I've been chatting about them. I've seen them a bunch recently. Pretty sure Shane Zabraski's the point leader there. So for whatever it's worth. At some point there was a hex on the leader spoilers. He managed to leave it to Iron Man to overcome the hex. And then also just in that same vein, NLRA is jumping back into the fray. I don't feel like we've talked about them much lately, but I see that they're running a show at Jamestown for $1,500. I believe that's on Saturday as well. And then speaking of Jamestown, the Street Stock Tour has their championship weekend this weekend. So we both finally got a chance to see these guys. They put on one hell of a show. And now their season's over. This is the last weekend of the season. So that's like a bummer, but also kind of cool that they're able to, knock a season out by mid August. So they've got 3 shows left. They're at Cheyenne on Thursday, and then they're at Jamestown Friday and Saturday as well. So
Is it like
I think
this?
that's
Do you know if it's the stock car stampede? Is that I think that's later in the year. I don't know. I know
I think
Jamestown is a
that's
big thing.
yeah. The only
Um,
thing they're just calling it championship
oh,
weekend.
okay. So it's
Was
probably I
what
think
I
this
saw.
this
Yep.
stampede thing's in like September maybe. I just know they have a big race called the
It could
stock
be.
car stampede.
It could be because they had sort of credited Jamestown as the place where like the very first street
Oh,
stock
gotcha.
race went down. So I actually like that too, right? Like, hey, those guys were down with you at the start, so give them a championship weekend or something. Like, keep them in the loop on the stuff. So I like that. And sort of
Well,
scratching each other's backs.
while we're
Yeah.
talking about Wasota stuff, the Fastlane Super Stock Series also has their championship this weekend. They're
Do
at
they? In
yeah, they're at
places?
huh?
Are they the same places or somewhere else?
They're no, not at the same place. They're
Okay.
at Thunder City on August 6th, which what is that?
Ooh.
Wednesday, and then yeah, and then Grand Rapids, then Gondiklah, and then ABC to end off the season.
Oh, dang. That's a hell of a swing. I like that swing. I'm putting that in my brain bank for my modified series. That's a good swing. I like that one. That's a good swing to end the season on for sure. So cool. Nice catch. We forgot that in show prep. So the other thing we should mention is that there's a pretty big like deal going down in Iowa this week. So they've got the 2025 IMCA Iowa Speedweeks is this whole week.
Yeah, and
And they-
I guess so. This wasn't even supposed to be a thing until the Harris
oh,
Clash got rained out and moved, from what my understanding. So it used to be a thing. They would always be like a speed week, and it's pretty much the same classes, all kind of or tracks, all kind of in it. But yeah, they're at Buena Vista
good
today,
today.
right? And
Yeah,
then
or
Boone
Monday.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Boone on
Boone on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Clay County
Yep.
Wednesday for the rescheduled Salute the Veterans race.
Blue to the veterans.
And
Yep.
then Algona on Thursday or Couthes County, and
Yep.
then Rich Friday, Saturday, right?
Yep, for the Night of 1,000 Stars. So that Brit show is interesting, at least on the modified side. So I saw they were advertising like win up to 20. I think it's
Yeah, it's 12,000.
12,550 bucks. Yeah, and so part of that's 2,000 to win on Friday, 4,000 to win on Saturday. That's kind of interesting. They've got to sweep the weekend bonus of 4,000, and then looks like they've got 1550 total in lap money up. So someone's going to walk away with that, whether or not
Yeah.
they win all this stuff. So that's kind of neat. And then I think 1,000 to win halfway money. So probably Saturday's feature. Someone's
Yeah,
going to win
they
a
do
grand just for leaning at the halfway
they
point.
do like a halfway pit stop. At least they used to. I
Okay.
think they still do it.
Okay.
And I think that's whoever's leading that gets that money.
Yeah. So I mean, lots of money up for grabs in different ways. I think the only thing that is potentially not up is the clean sweep bonus, but all the rest of it's going to get paid out to somebody. So that's kind of cool. A lot of money to be had around there. And then I think you mentioned this, but stocks, sport mods,
Hobby
hobby
stocks.
stocks.
And then their outlaw hobby stocks they got there too, I think are running.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. It definitely overshadows. There's like this small little sprint car race I heard something about. They pay like, I don't know, like 195,000 to win or something. I mean, everyone's gonna be tuned into IMCA TV over that. But anyway, we don't normally mention sprint cars, but we're not stupid. We know that the Knoxville Nationals is this weekend. So I honestly, I think part of the reason I didn't put it in the what to watch is I might not be able to watch it.
I'll be
And
able to, I know that.
the reason for that is my Dirt Vision. This is the weekend I got it, and it's about to expire. There's no way in Earth Dirt Vision scheduled the Knoxville Nationals anything less than 365 days from the last one, so I feel confident I'm not going to be able to watch this one unless I re-up, and I'm not sure that I want to do that. So, I'll be MRPing it and watching highlights, but
They got 100, I think they have 102 cars entered for that. So, and then they had the
and
360
101
Nationals.
of them are gold. Is that what you said?
A
101
lot of them are gold. I like the
gold
gold
wrap.
wrap.
Yeah.
And they had the 360 Nationals last weekend, and Rico won that. So
Yeah. His
I
first
think,
one too,
yeah,
which is both not surprising and also a tiny bit
yeah. Honest,
surprising in a
I would
way.
have if someone asked if he won that, I would have said, yeah, he won that. He's won
He
that
had
by
to have,
now.
right? Yeah, he would have
And
had to. He's won
and
everything else. How
yeah,
has he not won that? Yeah.
and then on Sunday they had the Capitani Classic, which is like a 410. It's like the last like 410 show before the Knoxville Nationals, and
Mhm.
McFadden won that. So and now, as of recording, they're doing the front row challenge at
Yeah.
Oskaloosa, and I think you've watched this before, but they do the foot race thing. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? They're getting ready to
I was
do
gonna
that
bring
right
it up.
now. So
All right.
if
Yeah. The
if
foot
I'm
race.
not paying attention, that's fine.
I like the foot race. It's very much
I
like the
love the
target
foot
practice thing
race.
you mentioned last week, but it's just something different, right, man?
Yeah,
And the foot race will be awesome until someone pulls a hammy and can't race the
I know.
Knoxville
Was it last
Nationals.
year? Someone fell down. A couple. I feel like the
Someone
last
has
couple of years,
taken a
someone's
spill of
fallen.
time
Yeah.
too. Yeah. So, yeah. The way the world seems to work until someone gets hurt, and then one won't be able to do it anymore. But anyway, with that, Carter, that's everything we wanted to talk about and more as they're starting to sprint. So don't
No,
miss this.
not sprinting yet. They're just kind of standing around waiting.
Carter, that means it's time for.
The one for the road. And mine, what did I do last week? I don't remember what I
I
did
don't
last week.
know. I didn't write it down. I don't know.
Oh well.
Well, we'll keep it moving.
I honestly can't remember. This week though, I'll do Peoria Speedway. They had a 10,680 to win BMod special, and it was like a tribute memorial race to a BMod driver that passed away, I believe, this past off season. Um, so they
Okay.
had that, and I remember like because I follow him on Facebook. I remember when it first happened, and then like I just kept seeing it build and build and build. Um, and they had I know Alan Weiser won.
Okay.
And
Ooh.
they had like 40 something B mods. Let me confirm. I should have wrote it down. My apologies.
Alan Weiser also been seen in a modified in a late model
Yeah,
before. Is that Alan
55.
Weiser? Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Okay.
55 B mods. They had more
Okay.
than I thought.
Nice.
Um, yeah, there was a few mod guys in there. Mike Chastain and a couple more. But yeah, they had.
Cool.
I thought it was cool because saw it like when they first like kind of started building it. And then they got a really good turnout of 55 B mods for it too. So, and it was a 1 day show. They just ran on a Saturday. So,
They just ran it all on a Saturday. Right on.
yep.
I dig that. Well, good for them. I like that. I like when a plan goes together. We not too long ago we had a 10,000 to win show up here that didn't even get enough free registrations to make it run. So it's good. I'm glad that went down. That's good for them. Um, So, well, for mine, I don't really have an update to mine from last week, but from 2 weeks ago, I do have a tiny bit of an update. So we brought up Coles County, and at the time, I had kind of mentioned that I think it's going to be a developing story, and there's another development. You're the one who brought it to my attention, so I want you to tell the viewers. But what is the latest on this Coles County Road to the Dome thing?
Flow will be live streaming it, which
Yeah.
I would have bought it probably no matter what it was on, but I'm glad it's on Flow, so I don't have to buy anything else. I already have it.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about my flow. I got that like a month ago. I'm good for a whole.
I think
Yeah.
actually mine renews within a week or two. It's always in August it renews, early August. So
Just
um,
think if you had Dirt Draft, you could have won enough points by now. It'd be completely
I
free.
had
It
Dirt
wouldn't
Draft
be.
for like 3 years, and I was never at one point had enough points for Flow. So
You got it. You got to play in the points contest. That's the thing. You got to have a little bit of gamble to you, but yeah. That's what I would say. Like even the 250 and 500 contest, or the 50 and 250 contest, just for anyone here who's listening and like, I'm not making points enough to make these, just play in the points entry fee ones. Over time, you are going to be net positive in those. I
they,
promise. Especially if
they
you listen to us. If you listen to us, you know something about dirt racing, like more than you probably think. So you'll do really good over there. Just
they should make contests that lock before the race even starts, because then I would be successful, because I never went off qualifying times. I just,
mhm.
this guy might do good, let me click on him. Oh, this guy's pretty cheap, let me click on him too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like, um, I still play quite a bit, not as much as I used to. That's probably has something to do with this whole thing, eating up time and resources, and still trying to be a good everything else. Um, but I still play. It's still super fun. I don't play as aggressively as I did before, and I can notice the difference now. If I'm not like locked in watching qualifying
Yeah,
and
I just didn't have time
like
for that.
when I was at my absolute best, like it wasn't even look at qualify results. Like I'm being a little bit nerdy. It wasn't even about look at qualify results. Like you had to watch qualifying because you had to see like if the track was slowing down and then someone came out and laid down an absolute ripper. You're like, oh, he's just fast, you know. And so then like, and especially if he was cheap value, click him right on in, you know? And like you could see a guy run sixth and people wouldn't be thinking, but he went sixth when everyone else was going in the teens, right?
Yeah,
That's a fast guy. So anyway, there's lots of ways to do it, but there may, you know, I know that they obviously they listen to me. So I'll pass along your concerns, Carter, and see what we can figure out.
make one for the race fan that's busy at another
Yeah,
racetrack and doesn't have time to watch
right.
qualifying.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. So that feedback has been heard, and all of our viewers who feel the same way know that I'm taking Carter's feedback to where it will be heard. So, um, but yeah, other than that, so I do want to mention, so this week's one for the road, I want to mention, so we've got it's called the Factory Stock Frenzy. And this is going down at the Texarkana 67 Speedway. We've got 7,500 to win. And I think we did some sleuthing. It's Boot Hill / their version of USRA factory stocks,
I think it's
right?
just USRA. I don't know. Boot
Okay,
Hill on my race pass has them listed as USRA factory
USRA.
stocks.
It's just so weird that they're referencing this as Boot Hill
Yeah,
Speedway
Boot Hill
rules.
rules when you could just go USRA. Oh, a guy just fell down.
Oh
Sorry.
no. Oh no. Hopefully it gets up.
Also,
Get up.
also they're racing crew guys. I don't know what's going on. We just had Corey
Oh.
Day versus a bunch of crew guys. I don't know what's going on over there.
Oh, he
I
must have
think
smoked all the drivers and they asked for a redo. He's too young and fast. Anyway, so 7,500 to win for factory stocks at Texarkana 67. I do also, so interesting ways to figure out poll and stuff. So they've got this King of Karaoke time trials. So they're doing, I think they're timing in, and then there's payouts associated to where you time in. But in order to claim the cash prize, you have to sing karaoke. So like if you go first, there's $750 for the fastest guy in qualifying. But if you don't go sing karaoke, you don't get your 750
you keep quick time, but yeah, you don't get the money, right?
Yeah, you don't get the money. Yep, yep. So I kind of dig this. This is into the theme of things we've been talking about that are interesting and different. And then to top it all off, they're giving $250 on top of the money already tied to like your finishing position, $250 to the best singer and to the worst singer.
The same guy fell again. Sorry. The worst singer gets $150. Is that what you said?
No, the worst singer gets 252. The
Oh,
winner,
oh,
the
they
best
both get
singer,
oh,
yeah, the best and the worst. So like you don't even have to be like, oh, I don't want to go embarrass myself. If you do a good enough job embarrassing yourself, you'll win even more money.
if you know you're not going to win, you might as well just try to be as bad as possible.
Right? I could sing terribly for $250. I mean, I do it for free as it is. So I could do it for $250. But anyway, Carter,
Should
you
we?
are definitely into what do you got? You
I'll
got an
say
update?
Peyton. I don't know if you mentioned Peyton Taylor is
I
the
did.
one promoting it.
Yep.
Who he runs an IMCA mod. He promotes the Clash on the Coast. He's ran at the Dome. So, and he's a guy that likes to have fun. So it makes sense that this
Yeah.
is the kind of stuff
His thing.
that he's promoting.
Yeah, yeah. I dig it. It's something different off the wall personality. I like it. I like it. You're gonna catch a fan in old Josh anytime you have a little something out of the ordinary, I think. Especially if it's meant to be good spirited, fun, involve people, involve fans, like make the community more together. I'm all about that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm done ranting. Carter, if they're still here, what should they do?
Like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, um,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. I'll throw it out here. If you're still here, you are definitely one of the diehards. We were kicking around the idea of a Dirt Info fantasy football league. I know that's a little bit different, but we do watch football, and you'll find out during football season that Carter postpones recordings for Vikings games. So, if someone is interested in that, wants to help us take the lead on that, I don't know. Just throwing it out there as an option. I think we have at least 8 regular viewers in addition to me and you, Carter. So we could probably swing a 10-man league. Might be fun. To the point I was just making community engagement, bringing people together. Hey, we're interested if there's guys out there that are or gals out there that who are also potentially interested in that. So comment something down below, fantasy football or something. We'll chat.
Yeah,
We'll get it
I would
figured
be
out.
down to do
So
that. So.
yeah, right on. All right. Well, with that, we're out of here. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you
See
next
ya.
week.